Well, I'll ask you this. You're the king of the odds. If they
I love being called the king of the odds, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to get a jacket made.
If they announce today that Justin Fields is going to be the Chicago Bears quarterback next year, what would you say? Probably 7.5 over under. If it's Russell Wilson signed tomorrow, what would you put it at? Would it get up to 9.5? Because I think if Kirk Cousins signed, I think the lowest you might.
I think it might go to 9, get bet up to 9.5. I think if you sign Cousins, you got 9.5.
Yeah.
You know, I think if you sign Fields, you got 7. Now, here's my question to you, Mr. Caleb Williams fan. That's what I'm. What do you do? I'm like Brandon, you a Caleb Williams fan. I've been Brandon. I got a Mitch Trubisky brand. I'm like a cow.
7 weeks.
Yeah, they tied me down. How dare you lock Mitch Trubisky? Ouchie. Anyway.
Yeah.
What happens if they get Caleb Williams, start him, and he wins less games than they did with Fields? Let's say they win 6 games, 5 games. Hell breaks loose.
Sky falls. Right? I've already went out and said that look, I want everyone to know that if you want to move on from Justin Fields, that is fine. If you want to take Caleb Williams, that is fine. But prepare to take a step back.
Prepare to die. Because I mean, seriously, you can't. Because, and what here? Let's do this combination. The worst nightmare of all. Because I'm hearing, this is the good news. This is going to love. I'm hearing the Jets are looking to sign Mitch as the backup for Rodgers with the Jets.
Oh, wow.
So, man, I'll buy my Jets hat because Rodgers may not even start the first 2-3 weeks. You know, that would be awesome. And then Justin Fields, let's say he signs with somebody else and runs wild and they make the playoffs while the Bears win 5 games. Bad scenario for the Bears.
And look, I think we get caught up in this all the time. I don't care who it is, unless you want to say maybe Peyton Manning. When you're a rookie quarterback, you got to give these guys at least 20 to 25 starts to figure it out. I brought this up already as a comp. Trevor Lawrence, I believe, through his first 26 starts, he had 12 touchdowns for 18 interceptions. He had an under 500 record. I don't think the world of Trevor Lawrence, but like I want to kind of give these kids a little bit of a runway. Yeah, please.
Compare Trevor Lawrence because his first 50 games, Mitch was 29-21. Compare that with a lot of quarterbacks that are playing in their first 50 games on other teams. It doesn't even matter. That's why I think the Bears made some bad personnel decisions. And the stadium thing's in flux here too. I mean, I'm going to be dead by the time they build the new stadium. I mean, I got news for you. I'm going to be dead. Warren's going, oh yeah, I was brought here for a stadium. That's right. Well, you were hired last year. Well, they brought in a guy from Minnesota who was a bad Big Ten commissioner, screwed up the COVID thing. He helped them get a stadium in Minnesota, but you can't bring an outsider into Chicago and to Illinois and deal with the politicians we have. You will have nothing left. Your clothes will be. You can't. So that's why he had to go out and hire somebody else now. So basically, he's acting like he was hired as a football man, and he's not. He's an administrator. So hopefully he'll keep his big fat nose out of everybody's business, but Poe's do his job. I'm not out on Poe's yet. I think he's got a possibility. This is huge for him, though. He screws this up, they're in trouble. He's in trouble, man. He screws this thing up.
Yeah, it's a real turning point. I think Ryan Poles in the draft has been my favorite part of his whole thing. Free agency's been mixed, trades been mixed. You're never gonna bat 100% or 1,000.
I agree.
I do like what he's done in the draft a little bit. How about
this? Eberflus is 18-1 to win Coach of the Year with Fields as the quarterback. He's like 6th. Now, that's a good buy because they know something we don't know.
Yeah,
he's 18. I think he's like 18-1 if you check the odds. And I'm going, what's going on here? It's their defense. They need a field general, not a field sergeant, not a field captain, not a field private. To get a field general with that defense, if the Bears, I know Bear fans, the most popular quarterback's always the second stringer. But if the Bears picked up Russell Wilson or Kirk Cousins tomorrow, we'd all be jacked up. Don't try to BS us. We'd be jacked up more than we are now. And if they pick up Caleb Williams, I'm going to tell you right now, I think whether it's Fields did anybody see what Goff and Mayfield have done as guys that have had us? How about Stafford? He went to another team. Why can't you, and won a Super Bowl? Why can't you do that with Wilson or Cousins? Because maybe they got a plan. But when you have 2 quarterbacks available like that, you got to take a hard look because that division's winnable. Our division's winnable. It is.
Yeah, especially after we kicked the crap out of the Lions for about 55 of the 60 minutes or whatever that we played them for 2 games over the course of the year. Also, shout out to the hashtag Team Bajan people that have been in our comments the last couple of weeks.
Oh, I love Bajan too.
But let's let him. Can we just let the kid mature? You know what I mean? Like,
you know what's
let's
funny?
let him stay in the system for a couple of years.
He knows how to play the position better than Fields. He just doesn't have the talent that Fields has.
Yeah, and the arm. Yeah, no,
But you know what happened? He was playing Division III. Well, what's funny is you say let him grow, but he won as many games as Fields had at that time. So I'm saying that's what the Bears are saying. Well, how can this kid do this? But here's the thing that happened to him. He wasn't used to the speed of the game. He was thrown behind certain guys because his receivers at Division II or Division III were slower. He's playing with like DJ Moore or Cole Kmet, who's a tight end who can run. So we got some good skill players. We got Kmet. We got I like our running backs, but we still need to load back. We got a couple good tight ends, a couple good linemen. I like Jenkins. That was a good pickup. So we'll see what happens. But they're third place right now. Where do you got them? I got them in third.
In the division right now, I would also put them in third right now. I think Minnesota is still the runner-up.
You got Detroit. You got Green Bay. If Cousins signs with Minnesota, we're third or fourth.
Yeah, look, I think
unless we sign Russell.
Detroit, we've seen this a lot in different sports all the time. I think they have a lot of talent in some really high-end areas, but as a team, for whatever reason, they just can't seem to really bring it together. The defense, they talk about the defense now, I feel like for the last 8 years in Detroit now, and they keep bringing in new people. It continuously doesn't work. So there's just something continuously missing there. And I'll be honest with you, I just kind of gauge it in who scares me. And the Detroit Lions, they don't scare me. Green Bay, every single time I'm like, oh boy, here goes Aaron Jones. Like, you know what I mean?
If you're a general manager in our division and you hear the Bears pick up Caleb Williams, you go, okay, we got to get ready. In 3-4 years, this guy's going to be something maybe or whatever. If they find out, if you're in the Detroit room or you're to Green Bay and they find out you picked up Kirk Cousins or Russell Wilson, they go, now the tenure changes. Now you got another team now you got another team that can challenge you. Because I think they feel, you just brought up the defense of Detroit. I feel the same way about the defenses with Green Bay and the defense with Minnesota. They're not there. I think we have the best defense. That's why you can't let a defense that's young continue to lose football games.
In 2 years, guess what? Montez is going to be up. The linebackers' primes are going to be out. The secondary, Brisker's going to be up for money. No, you have to time it up in the NFL, and you
gotta win.
You have a small finite window. You can't just say, hey, give me this time to build it up. You have to build it up very, very, very quickly. And Mike, we got a couple more minutes left. So I want to pitch over to one more topic here.
I like when you pitch over to other topics.
Hey, speaking of organizations that are asking for 3 or 4 or 5 more years here to let us figure it out, I just want to get your take on this White Sox situation right now. Born and raised, I've loved the White Sox my entire life. The 90s were great. The 2000s were up and down. We got a World Series out of it, but honestly, the last 10 years have been a total mess. Now with Chris Getz under the helm, there is no Kenny Williams wearing sunglasses, feeding us bullshit about how they're trying to compete right now at this time. I mean, they're literally going the Oakland A's route. I just want to get your take on the state of the White Sox on the field, off the field, the stadium right now. Where do you see this going in the next 5 years? Because I'm kind of depressed, and honestly, I'm even more scared. I think that Nashville thing can be real if we let it go down the road that it's going down right now.
Well, I would say this: if they had a commissioner, I would have told Reinsdorf you shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Number one, you can't have rioters on Roosevelt and Clark like you did this past weekend, looting stores and everything else because it was nice out, and say you want $1 billion to build a stadium there or in that area. You just can't do it. The city's not as safe as it was. You have a mayor that could give 2 craps. People are staying away. And if you think that building a stadium, if you don't have law and order and what have you, and you think you're crazy, number one, you should probably, if I was Reinsdorf, he tried to do it once before, go to Addison, I would probably go to Naperville or out past that area there, Naperville area, off of 90, build a stadium that's easy to get to. There's a lot of open land. It's time to get out of the city because they can't compete with the Cubs. You got a guy asking for $1 billion when you have the owner for the Cubs sinking nothing but money into the whole neighborhood. He's not asking for a lot of money for any money. He's added on to his stadium. The Sox never added on to their stadium. They built it wrong from the beginning. Their upper front office has been a disaster. It's been the same for 30 years.
Yeah.
And it hasn't gotten any better. I really believe that. I'm a White Sox fan. But when the word on the street, and I think it's dangerous when you can't read the room. I remember when the White Sox were going to move years ago, back 40 years ago, and they threatened to move to Tampa, and Sox fans were panicked. Most Sox fans now that I've talked to, go ahead. What did you do?
That's scary.
Yeah,
that's
what
scary.
did you? Well, here's what they I would do if I was commissioner, but who knows what this guy's going to do? You move to Nashville, you can't take the White Sox name. You can't take the White Sox name
because we'll just find another.
We'll find another.
That's the thing is we'll find someone that actually gives a shit.
Yeah,
and then
right.
we take the White Sox back like the Cleveland Browns did.
Right.
And then you get a whole new.
That's what you do. I mean, there's been movement of teams before. It's going to happen again. And San Francisco moved, Brooklyn moved. Chicago's too good a city. But he says that you can't compete without a new stadium. I would ask everybody out there, name me. It's not because of where the stadium is that he can't compete. He never went after anybody big. Did he go after Ohtani? No. Did he go after Bryce Harper? No. Did he go after Garrett Cole? No. I'll name you every big free agent. Who did he go after? Yasmani Grandal. He never goes after anybody that's going to put seats in the ballpark.
Yeah.
He never does.
Well, he will in July. Kenny will do it in July and August when he'll get Manny Ramirez or John Kruk or Ken Griffey Jr.
No, what you got to do, and here's what I would tell him. You will loan you $1 billion. But if you don't win, the interest goes up a year. And if you win, then the interest comes down on the loan. You got to win. You can't do this attendance thing where they get free rent if they draw under 2.6, because now they're happy to do under 2.6 because it's an attendance clause. That should be ripped up. You should maybe put an attendance clause that you'll get free rent if you go over 3 million. See, it's all for his partners. Everybody knows it. And to actually use the playbook, I'm going to move like anybody gives a rat's ass right now about the White Sox when you got a team that's got 63 wins as the over-under total. And if we heard, and once again, the Fields people are the rebuild people. They're the same people. I think I'm looking at one right now. Fields and wait. Fields, yes. I like Fields, Mike. Hold on.
I can see it.
Yeah, Fields and the rebuild. I know that you had that. Both of them, you're excited. Eloy. Whoa! He's so good. He plays 40 games a year and pulls up lane like a mule. And then
you should have seen me. You should have seen me in 2020 being like, the window is wide open, Mike.
Oh, we're going to win 10 in a row. We're going to win it all. And then, but then see, when they get rid of guys like Chris Sale from Moncada, I knew that. I go, you cannot trade Chris Sale.
You can't replace. They're still trying to replace
real
Chris
player
Sale.
back.
Yes. You can't get rid
a
of
real
Chris Sale.
guy
You will
back.
always look for another Chris Sale. That's why you don't trade those people.
The Chris Sale deal, the McCann deal pissed me off. He made 2 all-star teams. He's a 240 hitter, but he caught the team. They all did good. Dylan Cease did good. They all pitched well with them. They bring in this guy who catches with boxing gloves on, who can't hit, and they give him $77 million. Come on. But the White Sox, I mean, you know what I've heard for the last 4 years? This is what I've heard. 2 themes. Fields is going to Canton, and the White Sox are going to win the World Series.
Look at those takes now. Oh, man.
Oh, God. And then they tried a Chicago fan. I don't know who they're listening to or who they're reading. They miss me badly on a daily basis. My God. If I didn't have such a charmed life, my God, I would be going crazy. I would have never been able to make it through the Caleb Williams Field stuff. I'm doing this once with you, and I'm losing my mind.
Oh, man, it's hours and hours, and we're in early March right now. Thank God we can at least go to the quiet part of the room and look at the Bulls, because they haven't done anything for the last 4 years. But
well, no, I love how
everyone's,
Kobe White is starting to look like Stephon Marbury, and then all of a sudden Levine comes back and all hell goes. The whole team goes to hell. Then he gets hurt. Kobe White was making strides, and they go, guess who's coming back? The guy that sucks, that can't win a championship and was paid max money. Who? Levine. Remember? We all thought he was good.
gifted scorer.
The Bulls were 55-1 to win the title. People are writing this down. 55-1 to win the title before Levine signed the max deal. You know what they were after he signed the max deal?
I'm going to say. Okay, I was going to say it didn't move.
They did better.
Yeah,
they signed a guy to a max deal, and they stay at 55-1. Why would you do that? Even the bookies knew it was stupid. Even Vegas knew it was dumb, crazy.
Mr. Mike North, man, it's such a pleasure.
I could do this all day. I did this on the corner for free when I was 14. Yeah.
Hey, man,
this has been fun.
This all day for 32 years.
Where's Zaglu? Where's Zaglu? Where is he? Where's he been?
I know. Hey, look, he's coming back. I'm holding down the fort for him right now.
Yeah, you're doing good.
Oh, thank you.
You know what? You're doing great.
I appreciate it. And honestly, I'll be real with you. It was an honor. I mean, the guy works really hard. John works so hard.
Oh, John's the best.
And he's got some talent to him. And the fact that he asked me to step in for a couple weeks.
That's awesome.
Much to the chagrin of some of the audience, I'm having a great time. And I love
Hey, let me ask you something.
And I'm wishing him health. Yes.
Before I let you go, or before you let me go, you brought back, I got the chills. You got a window unit air conditioner, kid. I got the chills. In the 80s,
see the cock. You should see the cock around this baby.
Let me tell you. In the 80s, we had a hot apartment. I'd stand right in front of it. It would go. It would barely blow out in the air. Is that thing worth a damn? Hopefully.
I mean, look, it drips like crazy on the outside, but I'm on the inside. So you know what? We're winning.
Yep. Oh man, you're the best.
Mike North, thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
Chicago. For anyone out there right now that wants to learn, if you don't know enough about Mike North right now, go to find Raging Mouth wherever you can find your podcast. A fantastic piece of work. Congratulations.
Don't believe everything you hear about me. Only 90% is true. I mean, wait a minute.
90%, or is it 10? We don't really know.
Whatever.
Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you taking the time. I love your perspectives, man. Thank you for joining Sports Talk Chicago.
Brother. Thanks, bud.